Happy New Year and welcome back to another Amazon selling video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Nikki Kirk and I've been selling on Amazon for 6 years, helping teach new sellers and experienced sellers growing their business for the last 3. So it's been really awesome and I'm happy to have you here with me today watching this video. Now we've technically just wrapped up Q4 and it is a whirlwind of a time. However, January is the bonus Q4 because my sales and typically most Amazon sellers' sales are steady and strong all through January, doing just as much as you did in November or December. So don't panic, drop your prices. Don't think you have to like, oh gosh, this didn't sell and now I need to drop it. Things still sell in January, so hopefully you have a bonus Q4 month and your January is really awesome. That's how it's been for me every year, so I'm looking forward to a strong January. In today's video, I am going to answer some of your guys' questions about selling on Amazon, covering the whole gamut of different things. So there are questions submitted over email, via Instagram, or in the Facebook communities. So I'm going to go ahead and I pulled a bunch that I think will answer a lot of questions or that get asked kind of often. So here we go. Let's dig into this Amazon Q&A. Judy F, Tammy E, and a lot of other sellers want to know if I use a repricer. I actually get this question so often. I do not use a repricer and I never have used a repricer. In the beginning, I just didn't have enough stock to justify it. And also in the beginning, 3-4 years ago, repricers were not as smart as some of them are today. So they would constantly just drop penny and penny and penny. And then, another person's repricer or just someone manually pricing would also drop a penny. And now it's causing a race to the bottom like a bot and you're not even a part of it. So I don't use a repricer and I never have. However, there are some smart ones out there now, and so I do know that some sellers really do like repricers, and when you get a lot of stock, like I have, during Q4 I had over 700 product listings live, and so that was a lot to reprice. However, I just price everything high when I send it in. So if the buy box when I send something in is at $25, I'll price it like $27, $28, so it's already priced high, and so if the price comes up, I'm ready for it, and so a lot of things I don't need to reprice because I'm just waiting for that price to go up higher. That was a long pricing. I have a lot of videos on pricing because it is my pet peeve, sellers who don't know how to price and think that they have to lower the buy box price, lower penny, lower dollar to win the buy box, and that is false. That is not true. You're doing yourself a disservice. So back to the repricer question. If you're going to use a repricer, just make sure it's a good one and that you set it up smartly. Why I don't use one today is because I literally just don't have the time to set it up correctly. There's ways to set it up where it'll actually raise your price, and there's a lot of ones out there that sellers use that do that. So I would just say if you're gonna do it, make sure that you are setting it up wisely and not just setting it to constantly match the buy box or drop a penny, any of that, because you're gonna be doing yourself a disservice and lose out on profit. Carrie asked, when I started, did I use a BOLO group? She says they're finding that they are tanking the price. When I started, I was a part of a BOLO group. It was super expensive, and I did find that it turned into a do not buy list. So in my BOLO group, I am super, all the admins, Jocelyn and I, are in there making sure that BOLOs are not tanking from people in the group. If I see it happening, I just kick them out. I have really high standards, and some people don't like that of the group, but if you want a lead list that's really worth it and the prices are going to hold, that's the reason why I have my BOLO group that way. So I am finding replens from BOLO shared, not by me, other members of the group all the time, and I'm selling stuff for years past that were shared years ago in the group that I only know about from the BOLO group. So I think that the BOLO group is really great and it can really help you if you're a new seller specifically, but it also helps experienced sellers. But as a new seller, if you're just struggling on knowing what to buy or where to source or how the heck all these sellers are getting all this product that they're sending in, a BOLO group can really help you, direct you, and just teach you things that you didn't know of before. Besides the lead list in my BOLO group, it also is just a community of nice sellers. There is no judgment, there is no negativity, there's no rude answers, which if you're part of some of the other Facebook Amazon groups, that happens a lot. Or if you've ever been on the Seller Central forums, also happens a lot. For whatever reason, people want to be mean. I'm not like that. My groups aren't like that. So it's a positive community of sharing successes, asking questions. No dumb questions out there. Everyone is just trying to learn and grow their businesses. So if you want to join my BOLO group, it is available. Just go to yoursellingguide.com/BOLO group, or the link is below or in the description of the videos, wherever it is now. So I was in a BOLO group. I did join it. I was in there for like 4 months, and then I joined it again a couple years later just to see if it was still helpful. And now I'm just in my own BOLO groups. I share leads there all the time. I have 2 BOLO groups, so if you're in a part of the regular one, there is another secret one that after you've been in the one for 3 months and your BOLOs are great and all that, then we have this other one that you're invited to join if you want to. It's a capped one. It's a smaller size. We have live hangouts. So that is like if you want to grow your BOLO experience with me, that is available. So that is my experience with BOLO groups before I started my own. You do have to be really careful in them. I share positive, like I share good leads. I'm not sharing like bad leads in the groups. So you want to, but you do have to watch out for it. If you see that happening, then just leave that BOLO group or lead list. It happens a lot with lead lists too, especially online leads. The problem is that people might say, oh, the group is the one tanking it. But if you're sharing leads that you saw someone share on YouTube, who everyone saw for free, or other social medias where everyone saw it for free, and now you're sharing that in this group, of course there's going to be a ton of sellers on it. Or if you found it at Walmart and anyone can find it at Walmart, well, that is going to also tank in price pretty fast because it's widely available. So there's a bunch of different factors on why pricing tanks. Again, here we are back to talking about Amazon pricing. It happens every time. But there's a lot of variables, and if you're in a good BOLO group, it's not necessarily the group that is doing it. It could be that it's just where you're finding it on Amazon or out there. I'm sorry, where you're finding it at Retail Arbitrage. Next question, Hector asks, for compliance documents, should I delete the product before the due date? So compliance documents most likely are the toys, but every once in a while there might be one out there for a health and beauty item, like a protein powder, those kind of things. Sometimes those come up. If you get a compliance document, I don't delete the listing, especially if you have stock. I'm trying to sell through that product before it gets pulled down. And the Amazon will delete it on its own once it pulls it down. So I don't necessarily delete my listings unless I'm already sold out of it. I see a compliance document pulled up, then I'll just go ahead and delete the listing, and then that compliance document will go away because the listing's gone. But I don't pull it like before because I'm trying to sell it, right? If you just want to ask for it back and your price to move price is going to be losing a lot of money and you'd rather just have it back, sell it on a different platform or sell it or return it to the store, then you can do a removal order and go ahead and pull it that way. Again, you don't necessarily need to delete the listing. You can just remove your product. So I don't delete them like before the date or anything. Not only that, sometimes the date comes and goes and your listing's still active. So it's really annoying. And yet another fun thing about selling on Amazon is those toy compliance documents. But so I don't pull it necessarily. Really fast while I'm talking about them, you can get your documents if you work with a distributor that you bought that toy from. However, most retail arbitrage sellers, including myself, don't buy toys from a distributor like that, so they don't get those product compliance documents, and so your listing will ultimately come down. Nicholas asks, what's the minimum profit I'm willing to make on a product? If you're familiar with my channel, then you probably already know this, but here we go. I want to make $5 minimum profit on a product when I buy it from the store. Now that is giving me a buffer room. So if it costs $10 and I'm going to make $5, that's 50% ROI. That's another one that I go by, 50% ROI. I do like wiggle room it a little bit. I make my own judgment on it, but I'm not willing to spend $60 to make $20. That's just too much money to invest to make only $20 back for me, but everyone is different. So I like 50% ROI and then $5. So that means if I buy this product for $5, if I buy this product for $10, it's going to make $5 when I send it in. Here we are, our pricing again. Pricing on Amazon. Prices change. Prices might come down. Maybe that product is everywhere and every seller can get it. So then now the price is coming down, but hey, at least I'm making $3 profit, right? So that gives me that room that if I'm only saying I'm going to buy something that is $1 profit and now the price has come down to losing money or cutting even, what was the point of that? don't devalue all of your hard work. It is work to sell on Amazon. You have to go out there, you have to drive, you have to find the product, you have to prep the product, you have to send it in, you got to do the pricing. There's like so much that goes into Amazon selling that don't devalue all of your hard work by cutting the pricing just to make a sell. A sell doesn't matter. You want to make money, right? So you're trying to make profit. That means you want to be buying wisely. And for me, my $5 minimum profit rule. So $5, 50% ROI. Everyone is different, so do what works for you. I strongly encourage everyone to test out different things. See what you like. See if, selling in higher ranks works for you. See if selling for lower profit works for you. Whatever you want to do with your Amazon business. But if you're just starting out, or you want to know my rule, it's $5 minimum profit. Tammy asked, how do you know when to restock, replenish products? For me, it's as soon as I see it selling. So typically I will test a new product, a product I've never sold before, depending on the price, how big it is, how much shipment prep it's going to take, like if it needs to be polybagged, if it has a million stickers that have to come off, then I will gauge that. Again, my time is valuable. So I'll gauge that as how much I want to test. So let's say I found a really lightweight thing. I got, 10 of them because it cost $2 and it was like, so $2 making $5, remember? Minimum profit. So I will send those in as soon as I see that they are starting to sell. And very often with FBA, things will start to sell as soon as you drop it off at the UPS store. So as soon as I start to see, I'll go buy more. Because one thing with RA is that it's not always widely available. If you have something that sells year-round at Walmart that not a lot of sellers know about, you can replen that year-round. But if you're selling a seasonal item or something you got from TJ Maxx or Ollie's, they kind of have what they have and then it's gone. TJ Maxx, there are replens there. Maybe, let's talk Tuesday morning. Okay, so those kind of stores have what they have and then it's gone because the way they buy, overstock or outdated, all that kind of clearance. So when that happens, it's kind of harder to tell. But again, as soon as I see it start to sell, I'm out there getting more. Of course, every time I go to get more and replenish, I'm scanning it again. I'm making sure that it still makes money because if its price is dropping or there's been a huge influx of sellers, that means the price will probably drop. Then I might buy some, but I might just send another 10 in. I might not go crazy and clear the shelf. So when I clear the shelf is when I'm like, okay, that thing's sold. It's only at Ollie's and I'm going to get all that I can. And normally it's not like 300 items. It's still, maybe 20, maybe 40 if I got real lucky. It just kind of depends. But as soon as something sells, I'm out there replenishing and because I want to keep making that money. It's an easy product. I know it's there now and it makes my life easier. Michael B asked, I bought your Ungating ebook. Do I have to buy 10 items for every product that I want to sell? So how the Ungating works is whether you're in my group with the e-guide, it's a step-by-step guide to walk you through how to ungate toys, grocery, OTC, Topical, which is beauty, Starbucks, Lego, all that kind of information is in the guides and it comes with a Facebook group. So each guide has its own group. So you can pick which one or both that you want to be in. And there's, again, community of sellers, super helpful. But in that guide, I walk you through step by step how to do it. So here's how you do it if you already know where you want to purchase and you don't need my help. I'm going to help you anyways. So you want to buy 10 items, but it's not every item that you want to sell. So if you need to get ungated in grocery, you find 10 of an item that will ungate you for grocery. And the 10 comes from, that's Amazon's requirements. When you go to ask for approval, it's saying you have to show you have 10. So 10. But that doesn't mean you need to buy, let's say you want to have Starbucks and you want to have Dunkin'. That doesn't mean you have to buy 10 of Starbucks and 10 of Dunkin'. If you're just getting grocery, then you can just buy 10 of any grocery item. If you wanted to get ungated with grocery and Starbucks, then I would order Starbucks coffee and now you're going to get the brand and the category of grocery. So that's how it works. You can use your order to ungate as much things as you possibly can, but it doesn't mean you have to order 10 of every product. And if you don't know what you want to get ungated in, I strongly, before you even spend any money on an order, recommend that you go out there and you scan and you see and you make a note. Which category are you seeing that has a lot of profit but you're gated in? Which brands are you seeing that has a lot of profit but you're gated in? Because my example is I ungated Melissa & Doug when I was new and super excited to get ungated in toy. I have only sold one Melissa & Doug item in my wholesaling career and that was this year. Up until then, I had 4 years of being ungated, never found a single profitable thing. So that was a little bit of a waste on my end to ungate that brand. So I really recommend just being aware of what you're scanning, what you're gated in, and what you need. Make a note, and then go ahead and place your order with those. Felicia asked, what is the best stores to shop for online and retail arbitrage? So I've named a few throughout this video. To me, I really like retail arbitrage more than online arbitrage. I'm still learning, but the way I use online arbitrage is I'll order from like Target or Walmart. I'll use it to buy stuff that I already know from retail arbitrage. I do use Tactical Arbitrage, which is a software that combs through websites and pulls listings from Amazon, and the website tells you if it's profitable. They have a 10-day trial. The link for all of my free supplies and tools and trials are always below or in the description of my video. So Tactical Arbitrage is helpful, but I am a retail arbitrage girl. I really like going out there in the stores. So my stores are TJ Maxx, Ollie's, Walmart, Target, grocery stores, like whatever grocery stores you happen to have around you. Any of those like off-price ones, so TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, Ollie's, Grocery Outlet. There's probably like a local bargain type of store next to you. There's Bargain Hunt. There's probably something out there in your area. So I go to Google. I've traveled all over the country, 48 states, the lower 48, and I always just go to Google and see what is in the area that I'm in. I heart them, I star them, and then I make my route to go sourcing that way. So honestly, you can find something in any store, Costco, Sam's Club. I'm just thinking of more stores that I've been to. There's so many stores, Tractor Supply, Lowe's, Home Depot. Everything out there probably has something. So when you're starting out, it's just scan, 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 scan. You'll see the stores that you like, and you'll probably hit those stores. There's a lot of stores I don't source that other sellers do. There's always something for everyone. So figure out what stores you like and which ones have the most profit and are worth your time, because again, your time is valuable. Kimberly asked, what do you do when the Amazon product page is slightly different than what you're selling? So in her example, she says it was a 4-pack, but she only has one. You can't list it. If you can't find a single listing for it, selling on its own, or one that makes money, then you have to find 3 other ones to sell on the 4. So if the product page doesn't match what you're holding in your hand, you can't list it. You got to search a little harder to find the product page for it. Or in my case, I put it back on the shelf and move on, because there's a lot of products out there that are on Amazon. New asked, how do I feel about the future of online arbitrage and wholesale? So online arbitrage, I mean, it's never going to go away. There's web stores out there. Some might get smart. I know that some people's Walmart Plus accounts and some people's Target accounts get shut down if they know that you're ordering for this or you're ordering a lot of stuff. So just be careful how much you order or how often. But I honestly don't worry about the future of that kind of like big picture stuff. I know what I'm planning to do. I know how I'm planning to grow my business, and that's all that matters. There's always something going on with Amazon. There's always rumors of something going on with Amazon. Until it happens and it affects me, I really just carry on. And then if it affects me, I'll change, deal what I have to do, but I don't see it going away anytime soon. There's so many new sellers out there who are doing way better than I ever did when I was starting, and actually, some of them are doing better than I do right now, because they are all in, they're full-time doing this, and they're putting everything into it. I sell part-time. I've always sold part-time because I, one, was traveling the country in the RV and wanted to explore and not have to work all the time, and then 2, started teaching other sellers, so that kind of came in to where I didn't have any time anymore, but it's fun and I enjoy selling. If I had to give up anything, I would give up all the YouTube videos and teaching and just sell on Amazon. That's how much I love it. That's how much I am planning to grow it. That is what I would rather do. If I had to pick between the two, that's what I'd rather do. Although I enjoy all of it and I have no plans to stop doing either one anytime soon, only grow. So the future is what you make of it. What do you want to do with it? What do you see? If you want to start wholesale, how are you going to grow that? How are you going to get involved? How are you going to figure out where to buy from? Everything just starts with you wanting to do it. So make the future whatever you want it to be. Last question, Melanie asked, have you ever had an employee or someone who works for the store come and tell you like you can't do whatever you're doing? So I have never had it happen. I have heard, unfortunately, it was someone's very first time outsourcing, and there was just a nasty person who worked, an employee of the store, who was just mean and rude to them. And I mean, that is so rare. It really doesn't happen all that often. People do not care about you or notice you as much as you think. I think in that example, it was just someone who worked at the store was just having a bad day, or just kind of like that kind of a person, because you're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything illegal. Even Target, who has reseller policies, you are not doing anything. I scan there with an employee right in the oil aisle with me. I will scan whatever I'm scanning, because I could be scanning with the Circle app, could be scanning and price comparing, could be scanning for a million different reasons. So I have heard of people being like followed or walked out at Target. Again, never happened to me. I never stop doing what I'm doing at Target. It doesn't like affect me. I don't like do anything different. I go in there and I shop and I buy stuff. But I have heard where they will walk them to, they still bought what they were buying. They walked them to the register, checked them out, and walked them out. So there's a lot of weird things. At TJ Maxx, I've had a person stocking the shelf tell me, oh yeah, I know someone else who does that. Always, same thing. If you talk to the managers, they'll actually, and get to know them, they'll actually tell you when stuff's coming in. You can get their phone numbers. There's like a lot of ways to grow your business by talking to managers of stores. So there's all kinds of people out there, so you never know who you're gonna get, unfortunately, but you aren't doing anything wrong, and don't ever feel like you are doing anything wrong, because you're just there, you know, buying stuff to sell. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. Most places are happy to have there's a local store here that every time I come in, they're so excited because I'm making their sales numbers for the day in one transaction. So anyways, hope that's helpful. I have a full video of like different things that happen, or I went into that one question more of like scanning and being like nervous. It is nervous. I was nervous in the beginning, thinking you're doing like something weird or wrong, but honestly, people aren't looking at you as much as you think they are. And sometimes I just want to talk to someone. So hope this Q&A was helpful. If you want to hang around, subscribe. I will mean the world to me, and I will be back next week going over Amazon and personal income taxes, so you don't want to miss it. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you back here for another Amazon selling video.